And going live this week would actually be very interesting because Monday is the Falcons, Thursday is the
Oh, we gotta go.
Patriots.
We gotta go live. So Thursday is usually my comic swap day. So they may or may not meet this Thursday. I'll see and let you guys know. But Monday should be the game anyways because it's the
Yeah,
Falcons and the Eagles. Bijan versus Barkley.
Mm-hmm.
Is Kirk Cousins gonna have that rebound game?
He
It's just too
fucking
much of a
better.
story there.
He fucking
It's
better,
just
dude.
too much of a
I'm
story there.
I'm worried about Cousins. I don't think that I don't know if it's mental that
It's
he's not
mental.
over that Achilles.
It's mental. He's just
I
not.
think
He's not
because
planting his foot.
the
It's mental.
yeah
I
the
want to
one that
get
he
Michael Penix
scrambled.
so bad.
Well, the one that he scrambled to the left for and threw that ball to Pitts
Mm-hmm.
looked like the best throw he had all night, and he
Mm-hmm.
planted on that. But
Mm-hmm.
like most of the time, he was not planning, and he's
Nope.
scared.
Yeah, man.
Like,
He's
and I get
fucking
it, I
horrified.
get
Yeah.
it. But if you're gonna be scared, you're gonna get fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Welcome to the Triple Coverage Fantasy Podcast, powered by the Suplex Dinner Club. I am one of three hosts. Bradley, I'm going to pass the ball off to Zach.
What's going on, guys? Good to see you again. Zach here. Like Bradley said, one of three hosts. So let's get it on over to Eric.
What's up, guys? Glad to be back. Glad to also be a fan of your AFC East 1-0 New England Patriots. The NFL season is back, baby. Let's go.
Yes, yes. Yo, I love the energy, Eric. I love the energy. And like we told you guys, we will be here every week. So make sure you like, share, subscribe, and please go view some of that older content. Let us know if we're right. Let us know if we're wrong. And we're going to admit if we're right and if we're wrong. Fellas, I want to get into it. My first question, I'm going to toss it to you first, Eric. How did you fare with all your fantasy teams week one? Talk to us.
I got three teams that I've been, focusing on. Two of them, I blew the competition out of the water. One of them, I got blown out because Christian McCaffrey decided, that injury is going to hold me out a couple weeks. So I lost by about 25 points in that league, which, I think McCaffrey gets that 25 points, but you can't win them all. You can't blow everybody out, but 2-1 ain't bad.
Okay. Now, Zach, I'm going to pass it off to you. Let me know how many leagues you're in and what is your record after week one?
So I'm doing 8 this year, trying to find like a median between what I've been doing and what I was doing. So we ended up being 6-2 last week. The 2 that I did lose, I lost heavy. It's just those major players that you thought were going to show up that kind of just didn't in the first week. I know we're going to touch on some of that here on the pod, but just thank God for Jameer Gibbs and Devon Achane in a couple of leagues, and thank God Jordan Love didn't get hurt
What a
until the last
parent.
45 seconds. That was nice.
Okay. So listen, what a parent. And I'm going to be honest. I went 0-3, so I got a big
Woo!
0 in front of my record for 3 leagues. One league, the game came down literally 171 to 173. I lost.
Ooh.
I know another league, which I did a side bet with the guy, and I want to shout out Mel. He's a great competitor, not only a great competitor, stand-up guy in terms of trades and different things of that nature. I lost to him by 20 points. Olave underperformed for me. Devontae Adams underperformed for me, which I felt like if I got just a little bit better production out of them, then I would have maybe had a 5-point win. And then another league, I'll be honest, I straight up left the victory on the bench. Left Worthy, left Jaden Reed on the bench. I lost by maybe, 20 points? I totally blew it on that one. So that was on me. But we are going into week 2, and I'm not leaving any victories on the table.
Yeah, turn it all the way
So
around.
Eric, let's kick it off with you. Okay, it's week 1. We're in multiple leagues. We're gonna do something called panic or not panic. There's been a lot of things going on. Let's talk about the panic first, fellas. What are you panicking on after week 1?
Well, I'm panicking that you didn't take my advice when I said or not James Worthy,
James Worthy.
Xavier Worthy was a must start. Hey,
Woo!
you know. When I said Xavier Worthy was a must start, man. Like, what are we doing?
So to just give you a little bit of context, one league I started him, another league I did not start him. The reason why I didn't start him is because we have the super flex with two QBs.
Okay.
Wide receiver, I went with Devontae Adams and Nico Collins, so I left Worthy on the bench. Quarterback, I went Mahomes and Anthony Richardson. So
You mean
Don't say
number
it.
4
Don't do it.
in the quarterback
It's
rankings?
hey,
too
hey,
soon.
hey,
AR
hey,
15.
hey,
Too
hey,
soon.
hey, 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 hey,
Too soon.
So listen, tell me, what are you panicking on? What are you panicking? What do you see people panicking on right now after just week one?
Well, right now I'm in a panic because yes, I did win 2 of my 3 leagues, but in 2 of my 3 leagues, Tua Tagovailoa is my quarterback. Um, so we are gonna have to do some wheeling and dealing because in one of my leagues, my backup quarterback is Bryce Young and Geno Smith. It's my dynasty league. It's my dynasty league. I got to do some finagling, and then the other one, it's a 2 QB league, and I've got Tua, Lamar, and I'm okay in this one. I have Aaron Rodgers as my third, so I'm not feeling great about Aaron Rodgers, but you know we'll find another one. Um, in terms of just in general, I think right now we should be hitting a panic button on quarterbacks. It just as a whole, there was only what 2 quarterbacks over 250 passing yards week 1.
Really?
That's a little scary. Um, I know we don't get a lot of work in the preseason from starting quarterbacks, but you know that's a little worrisome for me. What is the quarterback going to look like this year? And in turn, if the quarterback looks as bad as they did in week 1, what's wide receiver going to look like?
That's that's
It's
that's
just
where that's where I'm at because I think on the flip side of it, well, I mean, like I was trying to think as to why the receivers were so bad last week, but now that you've so elegantly pointed out the QB play was just trash, it makes sense.
yeah.
I think the heaviest button I'm pressing right now is Chris Olave. I think them putting up 40 points on a team and him being involved in practically none of it is some of the scariest scheme work I've ever seen. And New Orleans looks like they're lights out. I know who they were playing. I know it's not great, right? And we'll talk about that when we come to our must starts for the week. But it's that's supposed to be your wide receiver one, and you're not even looking his way a lot of the time. It's eerily similar to the Kyler and Marvin Harrison Jr. type situation, right? Like that's your star wide receiver. You looked at him once, was like, nah, never mind, not for the rest of the game. So that's who I'm panicking heavily on right now is receivers. Not just him, but Terry McLaurin didn't put up anything. Drake London didn't put up any points. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
and then other than that, man, we've seen 2 games now out of one of my guys that I thought was going to have an outstanding season. He's just not getting any looks, and that's Dalton Kincaid. I thought that kid was going to be touchdown after touchdown after touchdown, and it looks like Josh Allen's just going to run it on his legs. That's
Yeah.
2 games.
Or hand it to James Cook.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned Dalton Kincaid because honestly, Monday night boiled down for me, and what I'm hitting the panic button on is tight ends. None of the big name tight ends performed in week one. I have George Kittle in my league. He didn't do anything. I have Jake Ferguson in another league. He didn't do anything outside of what was it? Isaiah Likely? Was it Isaiah Likely? Brock Bowers showed some promise, but the tight end position, I really hope they rebound and pick it up. I'm gonna assume they're gonna pick it up. Tight ends for me was a huge panic. Also, to Zach's point, New Orleans, you got 20 points out of Kamara. You got 20 points out of Rashid. Alave has 3 points. 3? And I know it translates different in some leagues, but for me, it was 3 points
Yeah.
because he's on my roster. It was 3 points. And I was at an event, so I had to text the group chat. I'm like, is Olave hurt or what's going on? And they're like, nah, he's just, he's not a part of the play. So
And it's not even like he was being pressed by like a shutdown corner either. Not to take anything away from him. He's a good corner, but he's not like, you know what I mean. He's not putting people on islands and well, I mean he did last game, but I mean like it's like what was happening. You know what I mean? Like what really went down, and is the connection not there? And was the play calling just poor? Where was he running the same routes and he should have just switched up his route running? Like, really, it was just a whole bunch of questions I kept asking myself, and that was definitely the scariest one of the week for me was Olave. Where he was drafted is crazy.
Yeah, and another thing about Buffalo, what's the identity here? And I guess we're going to go ahead and talk about no panic. I just want to close real quick. What's the identity with Buffalo? Had Keon Coleman in week 2. He does nothing week 1. He gets nothing week 2. I had to drop him.
Wow.
So I hit the panic button on Keon Coleman. Now listen, he is a rookie, and I do hope he do well and finish strong. But for me on my waiver wire, Alec Pierce was there, and he looks like he may have a promising season.
Yep.
So I just had to swap it out with that one. With that being said, let's go to no panic. So, Zach, what are you not panicking on, not worried? It's A-okay despite whether they underperformed week 1 or not. What are you not panicking on?
Running backs. I know that there's some that everybody was just kind of like, oh, man, I shouldn't have drafted them so high, or, oh, I'm going to drop them, or I'm going to sell low, buy high, blah, blah, blah. Dude, week 1 for running backs is statistically their worst week of the season.
Yep.
Every year. So that is the furthest button away from me when it comes to panic is any running back, any single one. Even if there was like okay, for instance, right? Let's talk about the J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards situation, right? How many people I've already seen drop Gus is unbelievable. It's so wild to me.
I agree.
It's so wild. Yeah, it's been one game and J.K. had a good game. You think Gus isn't going to have a good game? Look at who they're playing next week. You think he's not going to have 100-plus yards and a couple of tutties? That's insane. They're going to run all over them. Yeah. So in that situation, just like don't panic on running backs, even if they're like a dual-headed threat. Take Washington, for instance, right? Brian Robinson had a good week and Eckler really didn't. Watch it switch, right? It's all about game plan, matchup basis, who they're playing. You know what I mean? Don't freak out about running backs. Now, quarterbacks and receivers, on the other hand, those are two and tight ends as well. Those are scary situations where you have to have that chemistry immediately, or it's just not going to work.
Right. All right, Eric. No panic. What are you not worried about?
I'm kind of right there with Zach. I'm not really worried about the running backs, especially on my team. Like I told you guys, I blew out my opponent last week in my Dynasty League by 45 points, and I had another 48 sitting on the bench between B-Rob and J-Mo. So, like, I'm not 100% worried about running backs. I'm not really even worried about wide receivers and quarterbacks. I know that eventually we're going to settle into the rhythm where everybody is throwing for 350, 400 yards a game, and, you know, we're getting the 150, 200-yard receivers. I'm not super worried about them, but it stuck in the back of my mind in week 1, and then seeing what we saw Thursday night with Tua and Josh Allen, neither one of them threw for much. They were too busy handing it off to A-Chain and James Cook, who one of my friends in this league that I'm in my Dynasty League, he has both of them. And I'm like, well, you can just go ahead and bench the rest of your team. You've won because they got like 96 points because they were the only ones that touched the ball.
Okay.
Yeah, I had H.N. and Keon Coleman in one of mine, and Coleman put up 0, and I'm still out projecting the guy that had Tyreek Hill by like 20 points. And I'm like, this is great. Like, I'm loving this. This is so awesome.
And I didn't go as far as you, Brad, but I did bench Keon this week. I'm more after the game Jamison Williams had, I was more than willing to put him in my starting lineup this week.
Okay. Yeah, I just for me, I'm ultra competitive, and I said, okay, week one, cool. Week two, I seen zero, and it's kind of just like, all right. If Alec Pierce wasn't there, I would have kept him on the bench, but I just feel like Alec Pierce has a promising season ahead of him. I thought he was great value. For me, as far as not panicking, I'm not panicking on running backs. I had Rashad White and Bijan Robinson, and these guys in one league, they did just okay, and I'm fine with what they're just okay because it was like it equated to 16 points, and that was like a just okay game, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just waiting for them to really get in the rhythm, like you guys stated. In the preseason, none of these guys really play, so maybe the first 3 games we might see them slow rolling, and then they say, okay, I'm gonna pick it up, and they're gonna get into rhythm. Also, I'm not worried about quarterbacks here. I think quarterbacks are going to light it up. The league is designed for these quarterbacks to have big time passing yards. There's more and more weapons coming in. Weapons have moved around. I know Bryce Young had a terrible week one, but watch out. Him and Devontae Johnson could end up still doing something magical this season, as well as Thielen, who's still there as well. So for me, my non panic position is quarterback and running back. This is just based off the players I have. One league I have Derrick Henry. 2 leagues I have Derrick Henry. One league I have Rashad White and Bijan Robinson. Quarterbacks, of course, Anthony Richardson, Mahomes. Richardson showed tons of promise, which I feel like he's going to continue to do throughout the season. I even put my money where my mouth was
Right?
on that. So
There's 17 more games, guys.
I'm just saying. It's one down, 16 more to go, Zach.
Have you seen how bad the quarterbacks have looked so far? Hey,
Listen,
that's all I need is just an average quarterback, and he's going to be top 12.
And I've seen those
discount
defensive lines and how they're coming after the quarterbacks. And good luck, Anthony Richardson.
Oh man.
Yeah, good luck.
Oh man, listen. All right, so we did our panic, not panic. Let's talk about last night's game. We're heading into week 2. And last night we had the Buffalo Bills against the Miami Dolphins on Amazon Prime Video. I'll be honest, I kind of thought that game was going to be a shootout. That's what I thought.
Everybody did.
Yeah. The guy I'm actually playing tonight playing this week rather, in one league had Tua, and we're going to talk about that Tua. For me, we want to send prayers to him. I hope his family, I hope him as a football player in the organization has enough courage to let Tua hang up his cleats and step away from the game. What I saw last night was extremely alarming, and I think it's time for him to hang up his cleats. But and the game really was, it was murky all game even before that hit. So Zach, I'm going to pass it off to you. What did you think about last night's game? What were some of the highlights and some things that may have hit and missed on fantasy for you?
I'll touch on the Tua thing a little bit, like probably after I kind of do the overall game summary. But yeah, it wasn't really like a Mike McDaniel game for me. Like the play calling was, the play calling and the clock management at the end of the first half was just wild to me. You know what I mean? You had 3 timeouts. You let it run down to 19 seconds, and you're on the 50. Like where are we? What was something happening prior to said injury before this went down? So yeah, that was kind of weird for me. They weren't really involving the receivers a lot. Jonnu was getting a ton of love from Tua, which was cool to see. But yeah, it was really just a run first. Let's see if Achane can keep up. Let's see how heavy we have to tape this ankle for a couple of games and see if he can run on it. And he did. You know, he proved to everybody that, I said I was going to play. You should have played me. I know a lot of people that benched him. I'm not one of them. So I got a good 30 points sitting on my rosters. But so other than that, man, nothing from Miami. And we all thought it was going to be a shootout, like you said, Brad. I thought that game was going to be a very high-scoring game. I took the over, which was at 56. Shouldn't have done that.
Oof.
Yeah, shouldn't have done that. But I mean, it was just
Mm.
like, when you see two high-powered offenses like that, you think, okay, it's going to be a shootout.
Right.
Buffalo's defense looked fantastic. Like it wasn't
Oh
just
my
like,
goodness.
yeah, it wasn't even just like, oh, like we're pretty good. No, they looked lights out. Like they were all.
Confident.
I
Very
think
confident.
I think they got like in the first half alone they had like 13 quarterback rushes. That's insane, especially for somebody like Tua, whose offensive line isn't bad, doesn't break down that much, and he can get out of the pocket. To have 13 in the first half is crazy. I honestly, man, Buffalo looks a whole lot scarier than I thought they were going to. I thought that, with a couple of the lead weapons kind of leaving, like a Stephon Diggs, we all thought that that was going to kind of miss something, and it has. Clearly, we've seen that the receiver room isn't the same. But I think he's working on it, and I think Josh is going to throw the ball to basically anybody. He had that like scramble 30-yard bomb to like his fullback or something, or was it just a backup running back? I can't remember who it was. But I'm just like, see, do that with Keon Coleman. Why didn't you do that with Keon
Yeah.
Coleman? Like, what are we doing? But so I think the Bills are just serious contenders. You really hate to see what just happened to Miami season because I do think it's time for Tua to hang it up. I think that's just a really serious conversation that he's going to have with his family and with God, and kind of really just try and figure out what's best for him moving forward, physically, mentally, and as outside of football. Mike McDaniel last night touching on it and saying, you're the starting quarterback of your family. That's one of the strongest quotes that I've ever read from a head coach to a player, and I think for Saban to tear up, when he read that. That means something, you know what I mean? And I think Tua should really, really focus in on, okay, these people that are surrounding me love me, care about me, want to see what's best for me, and I don't think it's football anymore. You see somebody like Von Miller last night at the press conference just defeated because of it. You know what I mean? Like, God, I can't watch this anymore. Like,
Right.
we love this kid, and we don't want to see this continue to happen to him. This is the third game where he's just throwing up gang signs because he got hit too hard. You know what I mean? Like it's that means your lights are off. You're done. You know what I mean? Like you're asleep. You're not functioning correctly. That's permanent brain damage that this kid is probably suffering because he wants to get a playoff win. I think it's time to really slow it down and think about his family and think about himself for once.
Okay.
Yeah.
Eric, as the residential Alabama homer, talk to us. How was the game, number one? What hit or miss on fantasy? And give us your long form on Tua. What do you think about Tua?
Well, as a hit or miss, the game itself wasn't anything spectacular. I echo the sentiments. I thought it was going to be a shootout. If I was a gambling man, I would have taken the over. Um, just because you look at the offenses and you've got Tua, you've got Waddle, you've got Tyreek, you've got Josh Allen, you've got James Cook, Keon Coleman, who we expected big things of, Dalton Kincaid, who we've expected big things of, and it's just like, oh, okay, so these are going to be two Ferraris just slinging the ball. It wasn't. To touch on that stat where you said he had what 13 quarterback pressures, he
Mm-hmm.
also threw three interceptions in the first half. In the first half,
2 in the first quarter. Yeah.
that's yeah, two in the first quarter. That's insane to me how good Buffalo's defense looked. And they had, if I'm not mistaken, I think they said they had five players out on defense. So they're not even healthy right now.
Ugh.
Wow.
That's crazy. And they don't have Poyer anymore. They don't have his name's escaping me that played on the opposite side of Poyer, but um and they're leading with an entire new safety duo, DeMar Hamlin and again, names escape me. I'm sorry. But yeah, no, I turned this game off about midway through the third quarter after the Tua injury and watching Skylar Thompson be Skylar Thompson. I was done, so I cut that game off quick. Um, but my misses, like I have Waddle in a league. Waddle, I didn't get to see a Waddle this week. I have he. Well, I mean, he did 41 yards, 4 catches, a
He,
rush for 4 yards.
yeah, I was gonna say he
I
put
mean,
up
he
like
got
8.
9 points.
Yeah.
Yeah, like out of a projected 13, yay, he at least gave me half. Um, but in the leagues where Tua's my starting quarterback, I've got some serious making up to do this week. Even though, like, in one of my leagues, the score right now is 6-5. He had Tyreek Hill, so my Tua doing bad was also a blessing in disguise on fantasy because Tyreek's not going to catch the ball. And then on the other one, he had Josh Allen. So, I mean, I guess it was the best time to have a bad performance for my quarterbacking room. So I'm still in it. I'm still here. We're still rolling. Um, I watched Tua his entire college career. Um, I thought Tua was going to be special in the NFL, and he is special. Let's when he is healthy and he is rolling on all cylinders, Tua is a special quarterback. The injuries started against Mississippi State his junior. I don't remember if he was a senior when he went out, but I think he left as a redshirt junior.
He was a junior year. Yeah.
Yeah, against Mississippi State, he got a bad hip injury, and that was what propelled him to kind of fall down the draft board. And he just hasn't seemed healthy since. Whether it's little bitty stingers or if it's, you know, small injuries and 4 concussions in under 14, 15 months. I don't I don't understand. You have to
It's
take a
time.
look. You have to take a look in the mirror and go, I'm a father. I have a
Yeah,
wife. I have a family. I
right.
have 2 kids that I want to watch grow up. I don't see how you just go back out on the football field in 5, 6 weeks and just do it all over again.
And
Like, it
right.
breaks my heart to say it because, as an Alabama fan, I root for every single Alabama player that goes into the league, except for anybody that gets drafted by the Jets, because fuck them. Um, this one hurts because quarterback is. We had that special quarterback room at Alabama from
Whew.
Hurts to Tua to Mac to Bryce
Jeez.
to Jalen. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to. I don't want to leave Jalen out. And I hate that it's going to end up being medical. And I know all three of us. This is a fantasy football podcast, but we all watch wrestling. In wrestling, you would be medically disqualified with
Yeah,
this many concussions
yeah,
in this
absolutely.
small amount of time. You would be medically retired.
Oh yeah.
I know that the NFL is taking steps towards concussions, and I know that they're taking precautions with the Guardian cap, and everybody was making fun of the Guardian cap when Jabril was wearing it this weekend. Okay, great.
Yeah. Do what you have to
Do
do.
it, dude.
I agree.
Yeah.
Excuse
Do
my
what you have to
language
do.
on this,
Yeah.
but I saw somebody say, if you're going to be a pussy, don't play football. It's easy for you to say when you're sitting
Right.
on the couch stuffing your face with Cheetos every weekend, talking about I could go out there and play quarterback better. It's so easy for you to
Right.
say that. But the precautions that we need to take for concussions are real. CTE is real. We have
Yeah.
seen
Yes.
multiple NFL stars commit suicide over
Right.
CTE.
Right.
Like, I
Late
don't
great Junior
understand.
Seau.
Yeah.
One of the,
Yeah.
Rest in
you know,
peace.
one of,
Yeah.
One of my favorite linebackers.
That.
It's just time.
Yeah.
It's time. He has to think about the rest of his life, not the next 2 or 3 years and potentially winning a Super Bowl.
right. Um, I'll be honest. I don't see there. There's two things. Number one, I don't see there's an instance where the NFL even lets him back on the field this season.
Shit. Sorry.
Especially with how they're doing, in terms of protocol for concussions and things of that nature. I just don't think they let him back on the field. And guess what? We're here every week, so we'll come back. And if he's there, he's there. If he's not, he's not. But I don't think the NFL lets him back on the field this season. Second thing, I think Tua, why you're ahead of yourself, you still have all your faculties. Hang it up. You can get a college broadcasting job. You can get some kind of NFL analyst job. There's so much opportunity post football than there ever has been, ever. You can start a podcast even. Um, but for me, I really want to see him healthy. I want to see him safe. It was just kind of a freaky thing that he took a hit from Damar Hamlin,
Yeah.
of all people. So, with that, again, here at Triple Coverage, we definitely send well wishes to Tua and the decision making. Again, we're going to be here, so we're going to keep you updated on those decisions, and we're going to commentate on those decisions and things of that nature. With that being said, we're going to go on to week 2. Zach, I want you to kick it off. Who are we starting this week? What are we doing? What are your lineups looking like for week 2? For me, like I told you guys before, I'm 0-3, so this has to be a bounce back week for me. I'm looking to be 3-0. 3-0 this week. I have to bounce back. And I'm going to talk about that. But first, Zach, let me know who you're starting this week. Who are you high on?
So I literally, in my notes, I typed bounce back week. So that's great that you're going to be bouncing back. Because I have a lot of games, a lot of matchups where a lot of the guys that kind of dudded out last week are going to bounce back so heavy. And it's just going to be such a, I do have a couple of must starts. A couple of them are bounce backs. Sam Laporta against Tampa. I think there's no real coverage other than Winfield, and now they have him on the outside. So that middle ground is just going to be eaten alive by Sam Laporta and Jared Goff.
Winfield's not playing.
Even better. Antonio Winfield's not playing? What happened?
I'm not 100% sure, but in my IDP, I have him. They moved him from doubtful to officially out.
Wow. Wow.
Foot injury. Expected to miss 3 to 4 weeks.
Whoa.
Wow. And
That's
I'm
huge.
playing somebody with Laporta.
Yeah, Laporta's gonna eat.
To the moon. I'm glad I wrote that. All right. Beautiful. Next, I got Joe Burrow. I think he bounces back. I think Jamar plays a whole lot heavier. I think he bounces back against the Chiefs. It's always a good game. I think he has an outstanding. I think he's mad at himself for putting up what he put up. I think that's the lowest QBR we've ever seen from him since entering the league. I think that he's ready to.
You're welcome.
I think he's ready to tear it up. I really do. I think he's going to have a great week.
Okay.
My must start of the week, Bradley. I really want you to listen to this, okay? My must start of the week is Professor X. Okay? He's going to be so good in that position. It's scary, okay? Hollywood Brown just got put on IR. They were like, we'll see if he can play. And then Xavier had the game that he had, and they were like, nah, put him on IR. We're all right. Put Xavier out there. We're fine. So I think against that secondary, I think he's got a very strong chance to have another huge game for the Chiefs. I really do.
Sure.
So that's my start of the week. It has to be done. My last one is going to be whatever Charger you feel is going to do great against that Panthers defense. I would start both of them if I had both of them. I'd put one in one of the running back slots and one in the flex slot. But I think both of them are going to go off against that Panthers defense, and I think that's all that's going to occur for the Chargers is just run. I don't think there's any real passing involved for them this week. They don't have to because of that. They just lost Derek Brown. That was their best player. So, bye-bye. So it's just going to be – I think they have 200-yard rushers with multiple touchdowns each.
Ooh, that's bold.
Hey, I like
wait
it.
for Sunday.
Yeah, man.
Eric, what you got?
Zach, I need you to get out my brain, bro.
I can't do it.
All right, so I also have 4 must starts, partly because I couldn't decide what I wanted to do with quarterback. My number 1, Brad, is Xavier Worthy. Please start this man. Please start this man.
Listen, listen, he's off my bench on both leagues. He's starting.
Good. Yeah, with the Hollywood going on the IR, the game that he had, um, Mahomes is going to be looking Xavier's way a lot. He's also going to probably be looking Rashee's way a lot. He's going to be looking Travis's way a lot. But I think Worthy out of the three has the most potential to score because defenses are going to key in on Rasheed
Mm-hmm.
and Travis
Mm-hmm.
until they realize, oh shit, Xavier Worthy might be the one,
And even
and then it's going to be
then,
too late.
yeah, even then they can't do anything about it. He's too fast.
Yeah,
Who are they
exactly.
lining?
What are
Who
you
are they
going to do?
lining
You
up
can't
from the?
catch him.
Yeah, who are they lining up with him? Nobody.
Yeah, bro. We watched Jacoby Brissett kind of pick apart the Cincinnati defense. What do you think that Patrick Mahomes is going to do to
Right.
this
No,
defense?
no, fair. 100% fair.
Like Brissett was, I think he was like 11 for 16 picking apart that defense. Ramondre went for like 120. No, Kansas City gonna eat this weekend, and Cincinnati. To your point, Zach, that was the worst game that we've ever seen Burrow play. But I'm still not. I'm not convinced he's healthy. I'm still not convinced that
You think
that
it?
wrist isn't.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say you think it's his wrist.
No,
Yeah.
I
All right.
think he. I saw somebody on Twitter um, who was a licensed MD say that that's an injury that stays with you forever.
Mm.
So I I'm glad I didn't put any stock in Joe Burrow this year because I would that would be my panic button right now. So Xavier Worthy's number one. Number two, I've got J.K. Dobbins against Carolina. I do believe that they are going to absolutely feast on Carolina's defense because that defense is absolutely atrocious.
It's
And
like
now
what?
without your best player, it's done. Who
It's like
y'all
watch.
drafting first overall?
It's like watching a JV team play against varsity teams.
Yeah.
It was so sad. I was
Um,
like, oh no.
it was just
Yeah,
like
it was
downset
terrible.
hike,
It
15
was terrible.
yards, 15 yards, 15 yards, touchdown, 3 and out, touchdown. It's like, what are we, I thought high school football was on
Fridays. Yeah.
Fridays.
What are we doing, guys?
Uh, and then my last two, I have Anthony Richardson against the teams are hard Green Bay Packers. Um, just because we saw what Jalen was able to do with Green Bay, I don't think they're really comparable. But I think that Anthony's going to get a bunch of run lanes against Green Bay. And I mean, look, that throw that he had to Alec Pierce in the end zone for that 60-yard touchdown, he was like triple covered. He was getting sacked, and he still threw a laser. Like I just, he's a must start for me every week, so I can win so we can win this bet.
I was like, oh wow, what a fucking throw! What an unbelievable athlete that kid is. And then they slowed
Yeah,
it down, and you watch him slip and not plant his back foot and still throw it
yeah,
almost 70 yards. I'm like,
yeah.
oh, that kid is not even human. Like, that's not who does
No,
that. Like, it's stuff we've never seen
Anthony
before. Yeah,
Richardson.
yeah, man. I mean, it's
Yeah,
like
it's crazy.
kudos to him because that was a crazy throw. Yeah, but he still only had like
But
two.
also that scares me. Don't throw that.
Yeah, but he still only had like 212 yards, like the entire day.
Hey, that's
So
fine.
like,
That's
and he
fine.
was, and his stats were
And I,
not great. Like his stats were not that great.
He still had 3 touchdowns. That's all that matters.
I,
That's all
I
that
think
matters.
his rapport with Pierce, it may grow a little bit more than his rapport with Pittman. That scares me. Pittman was on a lot of benches last week, and I think he's staying there this week. As I'm just combing through some leagues that I'm in, so
I don't really think you
that
can though, because I mean,
that's a fair point.
Adonai Mitchell had one catch,
I have
right?
to start him.
Yeah, you have to start Pittman because if
Yeah,
you're starting two receivers on that team, absolutely one of them is probably Pierce because of what was shown in that first game, and Pittman is going to be a 1A on
yeah,
that team no matter what. So I think the person that loses out on that is the Adonai Mitchell. I think he gets benched in a lot of leagues.
yeah. My
He got dropped too. I seen him get dropped pretty
little
often
bit.
too. So
It's
My
so,
other options, if I benched Pittman, is either Jacoby Myers or Adonai Mitchell. So I'm gonna
Pittman.
take my
Yeah.
chances with Michael Pittman,
Pittman. Yeah.
or John Mechie. I could start John Mechie. Um,
Okay.
and then lastly, my fourth one is Jaden Daniels versus the New York Giants. Um,
Oh, I thought you was gonna say the Jets. I was gonna be like, "Whoa, hold up! I ain't even gonna let
hey,
you go
look,
no further."
I seen enough of the Jets. I ain't worried about that team this year. We the second best team in the AFC East, boy. I ain't worried about nobody in this AFC East until we get to Buffalo.
Oh no.
Um, hey, we're 1-0. Patriots are back. Undefeated season incoming. We got this. But no, Jaden Daniels against the Giants. That Giants defense isn't great either. And Jaden showed me a lot last week. His stats weren't eye popping, but he's young, and they want to focus him in the pocket instead of with his legs. And I like that. I
Mm-hmm.
like that a lot. You were talking about you were worried about McLaurin. I don't think there's going to be much to worry about with McLaurin because I think Jaden's going to find him this week and he's going to learn, oh, hey, I got me a number one. I don't need to worry about, trying to check down every play. I just need to find out where Scary Terry's at and we're going to launch it.
And McLaurin has the speed for sure, so that'll be
Absolutely.
definitely
100%.
a great connection. Daniels took a lot of liberties in terms of scoring the ball on the goal line himself and running and different things of that nature. So, I mean, just right now after week one, Jaden Daniels he looked the part. Not so much as Caleb Williams. However, Caleb Williams is able to settle into that quarterback role because he has such phenomenal help at defense
Ooh, what a
in
game! Yeah,
Chicago.
what a
So
defensive,
What a
what a
defensive game,
defensive game
yeah.
for them, dude. So incredible.
shout out to Jalen Johnson, man. He's starting to become probably one of my second favorite corners. He's getting up there for me. So I really hope I win that bet because it may be Jalen Johnson jersey, especially since he has a number one now.
Okay.
But Eric, is for week two, are those all your must starts?
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm leaning.
Okay.
I mean, I could have like a giant list, but I think those four are the ones that I have the most faith in going forward right now. And watch Xavier Worthy after all this praise just put up like three
No,
catches for 40 yards
no.
and
You
six
guys
touchdowns.
you guys convinced me he's gonna have a big game. I'm in my mind. I can just see it being the Xavier Worthy game where Mahomes just because remember, Cameron Britt, not Cameron Britt, but last name Britt, cornerback says, "Hey, all Worthy is his speed. We're not worried about nothing." So I think Andy Reid got some plays for him.
You got to think this kid is a rookie, and
Yeah.
that that end around that they did where he got the touchdown, that was designed for him. That wasn't a designed play in
Against
Kansas City's
Baltimore.
in Kansas City's playbook that we've ever seen before. That was designed for Xavier Worthy, and he scored on it.
Yep.
He knew his role and he played it well. He's going to have an outstanding season. He made us look so smart. He made this podcast
So smart.
he made this podcast look so legitimate because all we did was hype that kid up, and then he just goes out there and has a 2-touchdown game in his first game ever. Like it's just like
I posted on my Facebook. I was like, y'all need to be listening to the pod because we told you about this man.
Yeah.
And somebody popped back. Well, without his 2 touchdowns, he didn't do much. And I'm like, well, without touchdowns in general, nobody does anything.
yeah,
in the
nobody does
NFL.
that well.
Like,
Yeah.
Right.
what argument are you making here?
We need to-
Especially in fantasy, I want the
Yeah.
6. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't need 12 catches for
Crazy.
17 yards. I need tutties. That's what I need. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now listen, even with Xavier Worthy, right, we could see him coming out the backfield as well. I mean, there could be some situations where you line up, Juju Smith, you have him out there. Then you have Kelsey out there. You have Gray out there. And then you have Xavier Worthy come out the backfield. You put Pacheco back there as well. People who don't know where to go. I think Andy Reid is going to scheme greatly for Xavier Worthy. As a matter of fact, I've been getting offers for Worthy left and right. Latest, I was just offered this afternoon Jaden Reed for Xavier Worthy in one league. which I declined because there is some shakiness at quarterback in Green Bay. And we're going to talk about that really quickly. I just want to go ahead in my particular league here and just talk about my must starts. None of my starts have favorable matchups, so I'm hoping they really break through and do their projected points. I have Mahomes here as Cincy, and Yahoo, it's red, so it's not a favorable matchup for him. Next matchup I have Devontae Adams against Baltimore. They have him green for some reason. I think Nate Wiggins is out.
Yeah, the secondary in Baltimore is shaky right now.
Yeah.
So they have him there. Olave versus Dallas. I'll be interested to see how they get Olave open. Or is this a game where they lean on Olave, where they take the veteran wide receiver or the superstar wide receiver and really put them to work against that Dallas secondary? That's a scary secondary, boy.
Yeah, I'm scared they're going to have Trayvon tailing
Yeah,
him all game.
Yeah, they got him shut down.
We're gonna have to take a see. We got to take a look and see on Sunday. Rashad White. I have Rashad White, Tampa Bay versus Detroit. Now it says red, but Detroit got absolutely gashed up by Kyron Williams on Monday. Their run defense doesn't look too good. I know it's week 1, but that run defense did not look good at all. I have Bijan versus Philly.
I'm okay with it.
I
love
believe
it.
in
I love it.
Bijan.
I love it.
That Philly defense, towards the end of the game, Jacobs started gashing them a lot.
Yeah.
So I hope that's the same with Bijan. I have Kittle against Minnesota, which I think he will bounce back tremendously. And in the flex, I have Xavier Worthy versus Cincinnati. Now, we talked about Tua being out. Let's talk about the ramifications with Tyreek Hill. I'm going to put something on the table for you guys. There was a trade in my league. Shout out to these gentlemen. Super panic smash button here. Let's see. Let me see if I can pull it up here because I want you guys to listen to this trade. So, there was a trade. There was a trade for Travis Kelce, George Pickens, and DeAndre Hopkins was sent to one team, and salute to my fellas in that league, for Tyreek Hill, backup tight end in Cleveland, Jordan Akins, and wide receiver Christian Watson. That was a 3-man trade in my league. It was a lot of panic going on, shaky quarterback situations, player swap teams. What do you guys think of that trade? Good trade, bad trade, unnecessary trade? What do you think about that one that was put out there? And again, salute to all my guys. Salute to my guys who made that trade. What do you think?
I don't know.
Go ahead, Eric.
It wasn't my trade.
Go ahead, Eric.
I know. I'm just saying. I don't know. Especially.
No. This is a triple coverage fantasy pod. Give him to a raw. Fucked up trade. Great trade.
Who the fuck trading for anybody in Cleveland right now? Let's be for real. Especially a backup tight end.
Well, I mean, Njoku is out.
Give me those names one more time. I know, but give me those names one more time.
All right, so Kelce, George Pickens, DeAndre Hopkins have been traded for Tyreek Hill, Jordan Akins, and Christian Watson of the Green Bay Packers. That was a 3-man trade.
Whoever got Kelce straight fleeced.
Straight fleece.
Crazy, bro.
Insane.
That is a straight fleece.
Yeah, it's like he's playing with
Simple
Jack.
We don't even know what Watson's going to look like.
He's the wide receiver 3. Just from the one game that we've seen.
That spot.
Yeah, from just the one game that we've seen, we know Christian Watson is the wide receiver 3 on that team, right?
And I mean, Tyreek's still Tyreek. Like, even
it doesn't matter who's throwing him the ball.
Skylar Thompson's still going to get him some passes. Yeah.
Cam Newton is going to get him some passes. That's my hot take on who Miami's going to go get. Yeah. Ryan Tannehill.
Wow, you think Miami gets? Wow, Cam Newton. That's a sleeper.
Man has been begging for a job.
I'd be in for it.
Still working out. Still looking good.
Yeah. He's still shredded. I got to give him. He's
always been insane
for that.
Yeah, he's always been insane.
Yeah,
why not? Go get him for cheap for a year. Yeah, man.
Yeah. See what he
Save
can
the
do.
season.
And they Odell too.
What's the
It's
worst
either
thing
him or
happens?
Skylar Thompson.
Yeah, come on, dude. Think about it. Yeah.
So you guys are saying whoever picked up Kelsey Pickens and D Hop
Stole
won the
it. Stole
trade.
it.
I
Stole
forgot Pickens was even in it.
it. Yeah. The wide receiver won for the Steelers.
Please.
Come on, dude. He literally just robbed that guy. He robbed him. Like that's one of those
I
ones
hope
where
he
like,
at least used lube when he went in Raw.
yeah, man. That's one of those ones where you have to
think-
have like a league vote. You know what I mean? Like I'd sit there and be like, what the fuck
that's
is happening
crazy.
right now? One of them looks like they're tanking.
Well,
Yeah.
the veto is in. I do want to let you know that the guy who picked up Tyreek Hill also has Brees Hall and Jonathan Taylor on his roster. Maybe he was just looking for that splash piece at
He had-
wide receiver.
but he had
also
Travis
has
Kelce.
Drake London as well.
He had
And
Travis
Pickens.
Kelce and Pickens.
I think he just was kind of like,
He panicked.
I'm
Yeah.
going to move away from them.
He didn't wait for the episode
So-
to drop. My God.
Salute to my guy. When you see this, you'll know who I'm talking about. Salute to you, man. Salute to both you guys on the trade. Hey, it's funny, you guys. I asked you guys that specific question because I was asking the group chat who won a trade, and I said the guy who got Kelsey and Pickens won the trade as well. So
Yeah,
Like
man,
we're all
it's-
locked in here.
Yeah, it's like we all like fantasy football.
yeah, and at some point, I don't never want to do this thing where I just want to do, we just opposing each other just cause. But it's so great that we are in sync with certain things as far as fantasy football is concerned. I look forward to week 2.
Yeah.
I look forward to seeing an uptick in play from everybody, and I'm just. I guess I'm anxious to see who's going to be those top players for the week.
It was so weird last week.
And-
Like Ramondre being up there the whole time just
Yeah.
bothered me. Like because they show it on Red Zone. I don't know if y'all have Red Zone, but like they show it like in the corner on the
absolutely.
on the left hand side where it's like best rusher of the week so far, and Ramondre was just up there like the whole time, and I was like, this should not be happening. My wife has Ramondre Stevenson, and she was like, look, there he is, and I'm like, I'm gonna divorce you if you keep saying this.
So good.
he's amazing.
So
I just
listen,
Hey.
one thing we left out, we were talking about our fantasy musts and everything like that. We didn't talk defense. Let's talk defense. Who are you picking up this week on defense, or are you rolling with your defense from last week? I'll throw it out there really quickly. I had Atlanta last week. They didn't do what I expected. I dropped them. I have New England against Seattle this week. Patriots, I think they're going to shut down that Seattle offense. There's no Kenneth Walker this week.
Nope.
We may see a big game from Jackson Smith and Jigba, but outside of that, I'm going with New England and their defense this week.
Yeah, I think New
Let's
England goes.
go.
Yeah, I think
It's-
Christian Gonzalez is too
crazy.
good. Yeah, that kid is special.
It's crazy.
He's gonna lock DK down.
You know what though? If all it's going to take for us to go 17-0 and 17-0 is their main like offensive weapon to be out and hurt, I'm here for it. Let's go, baby. It don't matter how you get there if you get there.
So who do you have on defense for the week, Eric? Where do you start?
Right now, so in a 2 defensive league, I have Kansas City and Chicago, which I don't want to panic on Chicago because they are playing a good offense, but I also don't want to oversell Chicago because how many weeks are they going to get 24 points?
It's looking probable, brother.
And plus, hey, I mean, you're not
Yo,
wrong.
that Chicago defense is intense.
I think they're real as
But
shit.
I mean,
Yeah.
like, I do too. No, I'm right there with you. But if I look on the waiver wire right now, which we're doing in live time, New England, I could pick up New England. I like their offense or defense.
Mhm.
Denver, no. Tennessee, no. Detroit, no. Washington or New York, no. Rams, no. So like, I might pick up New England's defense and throw that in there over over
Kansas City.
whatever. Not Kansas City. No, I don't think so. I'm because like I
Kansas
said,
City.
I'm right there with. I don't think Cincinnati's going to be good this year.
Okay.
Their defense looked good against Baltimore, and you got to remember they held Baltimore to 20 points. 20 points.
That's
Yeah.
still a
Defense
lot of.
looked
That's still a
real
lot
good.
of points. That's still a decent amount of points.
But
Look at the top
for
tier
Baltimore,
defenses. Yeah,
that's
that's like 3 points. Yeah, I
Yeah,
get it.
for Baltimore,
Yeah.
that's not that's 2 touchdowns and a couple field goals.
yeah.
Just don't just.
And then in the other league, I've got Cleveland against Jacksonville. I mean, at least Cleveland's defense is solid, I guess. No?
I think Jacksonville's a
Nah,
lot
I would.
sneakier. Yeah, I'd switch that up. I'd go.
Okay.
I'd try to find something else in that one. I think Jacksonville's going to light it up.
Yeah,
I think Kirk comes back. I think he has an outstanding game. I think Ingram finally gets in the roll of things. I think
Oh,
him and Trevor,
we're set.
yeah, start going at it.
and then you got to remember Bigsby and Travis Etienne. Listen, all roads lead to them having an explosive season. So I mean, we're gonna see, but yeah, I would definitely put a different
Yeah,
defense.
yeah,
in. I
I'd
like the
swap
New
that
England
out.
Seattle match a lot better.
Yeah,
Chicago's
I do too.
defense was also chilling on the waiver wire, so I just went ahead and picked up Chicago.
Boom, good one. Absolutely, 100%. I don't have to
They're,
move
they're more
off.
boomer bust. New England's not going to score points, but I mean, Chicago's they got picks, fumbles, everything last week. So
Yeah, I got lucky. I don't have to move off any of mine. Probably like until week 6, so I don't have to start streaming for a while. I mean, I got Dallas, who's putting up tons of points for us. I have San Francisco, who's going to put up a ton of points for me. Yeah, I don't really have to move off. I don't think I have any other defense in any of my leagues other than those 2 defenses. Oh, I have the Jets defense in one of my leagues, so I'll probably have to look at that one, just because I know they didn't have the best game, but they're so strong on paper. Like, ugh. Like, I don't know
I
if
mean,
I
they
would move.
played San Francisco. Look how many weapons San Fran had.
Yeah.
Oh, they didn't even have their best
It's kind
one.
of one of those things.
yeah,
That's a scary team.
that was a McCaffrey-less one.
Yeah. This week will be too, so that's
No,
fun.
most definitely. I mean, while we're talking about it, what do you guys think? You think McCaffrey's done for the season, or done just until week 7?
I think if he tore, I think if he,
Week 7, I think
yeah,
he'll be back.
yeah, I think he'll be back this season, halfway through probably. But I mean, if it was another tear, you never know. Like if he tore his Achilles again, you don't know. But if it's just a, like if it's just like a re-aggravation, then I think he can rehab through it and kind of just slow practice and everything like that and get back on the field. But I guess it's really just whatever this MRI is
San
going
Fran's
to tell
been
us.
really quiet about that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Wouldn't you? I'd be like, maybe he's coming back, guys. Just, I mean,
Yeah,
saying.
because I had no clue about.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I had no clue about Jordan Mason. Like it caught me off guard with the McCaffrey not starting. They literally it was like Monday 6:00. McCaffrey's out. So, I mean, and it was funny because this guy drafted Jordan Mason. And I'm in a group chat. I'm like, oh, you drafted the one guy who's never going to get on the field because he's backing up McCaffrey. And look at me.
Rip.
So salute to you, Mark. You
Rip.
had the foresight. You let me talk. You let me talk you out of it. You dropped him, and now another guy have him on the bench trying to hold the king's ransom for him. So
That's dirty.
Yeah, that's evil.
I love
all
it.
it
What a strat.
all is fair in love and fantasy football.
I love it.
Yeah, dude, what a strategy.
That's that shit that I would do. Because like I talked in this dynasty league that I'm in, I talked somebody into dropping Isaiah Pacheco after like week 3 last year. I was like, oh no, he's not going to get any starts behind Edwards-Helaire. Like, dude, no, you wasted a pick on him. Like, what'd you do that for? He dropped them, and immediately after that waiver wire, boom. And then he texted me. He's like, "Why'd you pick him up?" I'm like, "Cause I was trying to get you to drop this.
I didn't want to trade you. I wanted him. Yeah.
Got him for free."
Beautiful. Football. We love it.
I swear I'm not a dick.
And so last week Sunday, I was out, but hopefully we can go ahead and get going around game time. Maybe get a live in through Riverside or get something just, record it and get it put up on a YouTube immediately in real time. This is a great long form. So, guys, before we head out of here, I want to say Triple Coverage Fantasy Pod powered by Suplex Dinner Club. We will be here weekly again. like, share, and subscribe, and check out those old videos. I'm actually gonna let Eric close it, provide our socials for them, and then you go ahead and get us out of here and take us home.
Yes, sir. Follow us on the Twitter X at 3 coverage pod. That's the number 3 coverage pod. We've been posting a lot of good stuff out there. Like I see that we had the week 1 rankings of every position. So if you're wanting to know where a player finished in the top 5, give us a follow, give us a like. We've got some pretty good traction over there. Try to stay up on Sundays with all the scoring. Sometimes it's hard. All the roster moves, sometimes it's hard. But I think we did pretty good Sunday. I think we did pretty good. Um, but yeah, give us a like, give us a comment, give us a subscription. We're on the YouTube. I think if you just search Suplex Dinner Club, we'll pop up. We're on the Spotify, same thing. We're just all under that Suplex Dinner Club banner. We appreciate them so much for hosting us. Um, what a fantastic couple months we've got in store. Football's back. Football's swinging. We are here every week. So check us out. And when the Patriots win the Super Bowl, hey, we'll be here for it. We'll be here for it.
We definitely will be here for it. And it's just not going to stop at fantasy football because, again, like I said, draft season, all
Yep.
season, everything.
Yeah, but other than that, guys, y'all have a good weekend. Check us out on the Twitter, on the Spotify, all that fun stuff. And yeah, let us know. Let us know if you took any of our advice or if you didn't and you hate it yourself for it. Like leaving Xavier Worthy on the bench.
Like Brad.
And Jaden Reed. And Jaden Reed.
Oof.
Ouch.
Man, triple coverage fantasy pod. We out. Peace.
Peace.